101.9 Cool FM. After Dark with Daddy Freeze, and today we're talking about a very sensitive topic, and it is money. What makes the world go round? And I've got Cashless, aka Amal Kansime. You could call her Amal Cashless.
Amal Cash.
Amal Cash.
Yeah.
All right. There used to be a guy in my secondary school. His name, Spoots back then meant you had lots of nice clothes.
Yeah.
So he used to call himself Spoots. And people would call him Spoots. Less. They'll just add the less.
To everything.
To everything. All right. Today we're talking about money, one of the most beautiful and wonderful topics ever to grace the world.
Yes.
Everybody loves money.
Everyone
loves money. But at what stage do you realize that your love for money is
too overboard?
Yeah. At what stage do you realize that?
When you're collecting pints.
At what stage? And by the way, big shout out to the richest man in Africa, who's also at the very same time the richest man in Nigeria. Aliko Dangote, happy birthday. We're celebrating you today, and we're talking about money, the goods, the bads, the not so goods, and of course money. We're going to talk about money and faith. We're going to talk about money in every possible ramification. Okay, but first of all, before I go any further, I'd like to read a quote from Paul Kagame.
Paul.
Yeah. You know who Paul Kagame is?
The president of Rwanda.
One of my favorite. You don't
real?
talk about. Yes. You don't talk about Paul Kagame like the president of Uganda. He's one of the best things to happen to the world. Okay?
Kagame.
So, I have a tweet from him. I'm going to go into that in a few minutes while we wait for stuff to load.
Yes.
So, in the meantime, first of all, what does money mean to you? I'm going to start with you, Amal Cash. What does money mean to you? And I want you to be honest.
Honestly speaking, money is almost happiness in a way. Like for me, it's me. Money is like happiness. Because without money, you're either depressed or something. I've never seen someone who is, I don't know.
So, money is happiness. That means you can never be poor and happy.
I don't understand. I don't understand why I would be poor and happy. What am I? Why am I smiling?
All right, we're making this free. And guys, we're going to open up the phone line so you two could also call. And we're being candid here. Do you think that money is overrated? I'll ask you again.
No. Every year when I receive my rent, I don't think money is overrated. When you need to buy clothes, buy shoes, I think money is even underrated.
You think money's underrated?
It's underrated, actually.
All right, guys. Today I'm being a bit democratic. So I want you to understand that we're trying to have a discussion here. I don't want to dominate it like I normally do. But the question is, what is money to you? Give us a phone call, 2710969, 2711969, 2712969, and 2713969. All right, we've got a caller. Yeah, hello. Hi, how are you doing? Introduce yourself and tell me what money is to you.
Just like the reward.
Okay.
We're asking something there. Hello?
I'm right here. I can hear you. Go ahead.
Friend, we're asking something. I was like, will you prefer to earn, let's say, 2 million naira monthly? And let economy be good. Let there be education, cheap food, good road network, everything, and you'll be earning 200,000. Me and my friend were arguing this. I told him, I'm here, I'll be better to earn this 200,000. Let's get this free education, cheap housing, let life just be busy and all that. So I don't know. Because this money we are taking is stressful, I beg. It's stressful.
Thank you very much for that call.
That's a good one.
And I'm going to
actually.
ask you two, what would you rather have? Would you rather have the things money can buy, comforts, or would you rather have money?
Money. Let me have the money and buy the things that like the comfort. Buy a nice bed, but yeah, money.
Money.
Yeah.
All right. So, I want to talk to you about something today. Let's take another call and then come right back before I go in hard. Hello, good evening. What's your name? Go ahead and tell us what your view is.
Uncle, money is just a means to an end. It's not an end in itself.
According to the woman in the studio here with me,
Please with me, but I think I was happier a long time ago when I was younger and I didn't have any, I didn't have many problems like shoes and clothes and things like that, So,
Hey.
I'm thinking, I'm having sleepless nights on the one to pick. But if I had just one thing, the time I had only one thing, I was faster, I was moving faster, I was sleeping better, I was playing basketball better, I was living the life. But man, more money, more problems. Dangote does not sleep more than 3 hours. Buhari probably doesn't sleep. Or just people that have money and have many problems on their head, they barely sleep. But we that are down here, we sleep very well at night. But in your wardrobe, you will not have any shoes to pick up.
All right, more calls. We're going to take just one more call. Hello. Tell us, what is your take? Do you think money brings more problems? Or do you think money solves more problems? Does it bring the problems or does it solve the problems?
Yeah, really, money is just the energy towards the future.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't understand. The energy towards the future?
yes, it is the energy. Without money, we cannot survive it.
How were the primitive men surviving without money?
Curry shells.
How are the primitive men surviving without money? Sorry, say that again.
They are destined for destruction.
So as they don't have money, they are destined for destruction. Please say that again.
Yes, dude. They are destined for destruction if they don't have the money.
So anyone who's poor is destined for destruction. But Christ said in the scriptures that blessed are the poor, for they shall make heaven.
And that one is just said for people to understand that Christ really appreciates everything created on earth. It's not for them to be poor.
I don't understand what you're saying. Hold on. I need you to explain what you're saying well, because the world is listening to you, and I'm not quite getting you. Are you guys getting him?
Yes.
Will you keep quiet? So go ahead, explain this to us, this point of view of yours. Please go ahead and explain it.
Really, it's not something that I have to really celebrate too much on, because everybody knows that without money, we cannot function properly. So all the things said in the Bible is just it's like a guidelines that you people believe that somebody on earth and in heaven that really and truly cares, which is God Jesus Christ. It's not that maybe poverty is available or accepted by God.
Okay.
Wow. So it's not like poverty is accepted by God. Can we remember Lazarus the beggar who had sores on his body and sat at the gate of a rich man? And the scriptures say Lazarus was in heaven beside Father Abraham, while the rich man was rotting and burning in hell. Can we just focus on that for a few seconds before we continue?
Still, maybe it's about people's destiny. For him, maybe there was nothing to do. He was going to be poor. But I think we over-normalize poverty and we make it okay. We make mediocrity okay. We say, it's okay.
No. You just said something. You said we make mediocrity okay.
Okay, yeah.
Now, you don't have to be rich for you to escape mediocrity. There are many people who have contributed immensely to the world who are not quote-unquote rich. Mother Teresa was not rich.
When I'm saying rich, what is being rich, honestly? It may not be being the richest man in Africa. It's being able to provide for yourself.
And that provision includes Gucci?
Yeah.
Really?
By the Gucci and Louis.
I'm having a great time with my lobster today. Oh my goodness.
Buy the Gucci and buy your girl the red bottoms and the iPhone Hexax Max.
Wow. How wonderful life is if it's judged by Gucci's and red bottoms and Rolexes and Ferraris.
No, but honestly speaking, I think being wealthy or being rich means you're able to cater for yourself and you have excess more after catering for your basic needs. That is being rich.
Now, let's look a bit biblical now. None of the apostles was rich.
Yeah.
None, not one.
Was there money then? If you are rich, you had a donkey.
Yes.
Okay, they didn't have donkeys. Let's start there.
But they were
didn't
given
have horses, they didn't have camels. I'm not saying being rich is bad, but at what stage do we make money a god? That's a question. Because somebody said without money you can't be happy. The lobster also said without money you're not complete.
You're not.
So if money completes you, can we say that money is becoming your god?
No.
We've got another call coming there. You say no?
Yeah, no.
I love Nigerians. Yes, all right, we've got a caller right here. Hello?
Yes, hello, good evening.
All right, go ahead. What's your perspective?
I want to respond to the last caller.
All right, go ahead, sir.
Okay, if you are listening to me, please go and read the Bible very well, because all the things they're saying is just off it.
Oh.
And then back to your own question. I think money is key, but money is not, how would I put it? Money is important, money is not key. Money cannot guarantee your happiness, but definitely money can make you happy, but it cannot guarantee your happiness.
That makes sense.
All right, that makes a bit of sense. Okay, more callers. Hello? Yes. Turn down your radio. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Gideon.
All right, Gideon, go ahead.
Okay, money makes someone happy, you understand? Money is a source of living. Money is very important in life. But God doesn't create anybody to be poor, you understand? But if...
Hello. Can you just calm down? God doesn't create anybody to be poor.
So what are you
Did
saying
just
about the
say
ones that are poor?
You say...
God doesn't create anybody to be poor. Did you really say that, or it just came out in passing?
No. The Bible says so now.
In what?
The Bible says...
In what?
Hold on. I want to read the Bible that you spoke about. Just real quick, I just want to read something to you. Okay? You have a Bible there? Wow, so how do you know what it says when you don't have or read one?
I have my Bible, but I'm not reading it now.
Okay, I want us to read together 1 Corinthians 4 and 11. To this very hour, I'm reading from New International Version. To this very hour, we go hungry and thirsty. We are in rags. We are brutally treated. We are homeless. These were the disciples talking. The lobster is not particularly feeling good right now.
About that, when God wants to send them out, you understand, to go and preach the gospel, God, Jesus particularly said to them that
And hold on. If money is so important, why did he say they shouldn't take it with them? No, but you're contradicting. Okay, you don't want to do the work of God. Yeah. Because if you love money and you believe that everybody was made to be rich, and then you're now saying that those people who are not rich were not willing to do the work of God, how exactly does that coincide?
You have confused me.
All right, we're going to go on a break on the radio, and when we come back, we will continue with this. So please stick around, Lagos. We absolutely love you all. And 96.9 Cool FM is your number one station. And today we're talking about money. Oh my goodness, I've had such perspectives today. And why are we talking about money? Because we're celebrating Aliko Dangote's birthday.
Dangote.
And I thought it wise to talk about what he's known for, money. And I'm trying to relate it with our faith or faiths and our circumstance and situation. Is money overrated? So we're still going to talk about money and relationships. And I'm also going to share some perspective, because I noticed a lot of people are calling and talking about the Bible says, God says. So when you're talking a lot of God says, Bible says, I like you to support with scriptures. Okay? When you say God says that you have to be rich, I want to know where that's coming from. Now, I said earlier on that I was going to read a quote from Paul Kagame, the Rwandan president. He said, "I would rather argue that we need to mobilize the right mindsets rather than more funding. After all, in Africa, we have everything we need in real terms. Whatever is lacking, we have the means to acquire. And yet we remain mentally married to the idea that nothing can move without external funding. We are even begging for things we already have. That is absolutely a failure of mindset." Paul Kagame. I couldn't agree more. I would say it is absolute poverty of ambition for us to think that we need money to solve all our problems. I'm going to show you guys a picture for those of you on social media. And for those of you who are not, you can Google the picture. Just Google, put on Google, Venezuela currency litter. So just Venezuela currency litter. In Venezuela, you can see money littering the floor, literally. Just put this on Google. I don't want to get in trouble for copyright. But if you look at some pictures from Venezuela, you literally see money littering the floor because it has become valueless. And what killed the money in that country? Corruption. So it is poverty of ambition to think that money can solve all problems. And I'm going to say something else. You remember, was it Al Capone or no, the other guy, the other drug,
Pablo Escobar.
Pablo Escobar. There was a time when Pablo Escobar had no, they didn't have wood, and it was winter, and his children were freezing. He had to start burning money. He burnt about $2 million that night just to keep them warm.
Lord, give me
$2 million in cash just to keep the children warm. And that says a lot about money. Because guess what? If you had 3 logs of wood, you could have exchanged them for that $2 million. Say, hello, I have wood. Not normal wood, but I have wood here. Give me your $2 million. I'll give you this wood, and this wood will generate more than the heat that money would generate.
Well, you see, when people say things like money isn't happiness or anything, there's something I think Nicolas Cage said. He said, I wish everyone could have a lot of money, because it's only when you have a lot of money that you realize that money is not everything. So even me at this point that I don't have a lot of money, I don't have the right to say that money isn't everything. Because which money have I held that isn't everything?
Can you see the streets of Venezuela? Guys, have you put this to Google? Put this to Google. Money littering the streets of Venezuela.
Were they angry? Were shops
It's
closed?
worth nothing.
Wow.
Money's worth nothing, so people are beginning to trade other things. Okay, you've got a fridge, I've got some beans. Give me your fridge, I'll give you beans.
So basically, we're going back to the before times.
Let me tell you something. Much of the world's economy is based on speculation, not real value. The countries that control trade really don't have much money in their stockpiles, but yet they dictate the currency. So, if there was a shift in power and you are holding, say, 2 million of that currency, it becomes worth 2 million pieces of paper. Literally. Because it's not, they don't have that money in diamonds, they don't have that money in gold, they don't have that money in anything but speculation. And that's why Aliko Dangote said, and I quote, that there was a time when he had money, but he just didn't believe he had money, so he had to withdraw $10 million
to look at
take it to his house to say, okay, I really have this money. Because most of the world's money is actually speculated. Bill Gates doesn't have, when you say Bill Gates has $100 billion or Jeff Bezos, you think he's sitting in his house and there's one room filled with money. So he goes there. Mama Lati, you want to buy milk? So you take, no.
Here you go, 1 billion. But I think that's a mistake Africans make. When you hear that someone's net worth is $1 million, $5 billion, it means that they have gathered everything they own, houses, cars.
Stock.
Yes, and they have put it together. So they don't have that in their account. So, for example, my net... let's not go there.
Let's not talk about your net worth, because it will crash our net worth. Please. Let's not do anything that'll jeopardize our seamless...
Let me save myself.
Now, you see, this money mentality is what has killed Nigeria, in my opinion. Why? Because we rely on money and we neglect our resources. I'll tell you something. Money is a byproduct of success. When you're successful, you will get some money. But what we do in Nigeria, we make money success.
Yes, that one I'm on your side for
Let me explain this a little further. When you're distilling crude oil, who has ever... let me see if I can get a picture on Google. If you have your Google, you could just put fractional distillation crude oil. Just type that and look at the pictures. Fractional distillation crude oil. Okay? You've seen, has anything come up? Just go to images. I want you to do this with me. Okay, I'm looking for a clean picture.
Oh, we have the same.
Oh, okay. I want something a bit clean. Okay, all right, fantastic. This you can see this picture here.
Yes.
Okay, you have, if you distill crude oil, you get the following: refinery gases, you get gasoline, that's fuel for cars, you get kerosene, that's aircraft fuel and cooking fuel in Nigeria. You'd get diesel for cars, lorries, buses in Nigeria, generators. You get fuel oil for ships and power stations. And then as a byproduct, you get bitumen for roads and roofs.
Oh. Didn't know that.
Now, when you distill crude oil, what are you looking for? Among all these things, what do you think Nigeria is looking for among all these things listed here? I'm asking them all.
I would think they're looking for gasoline.
1.
Kerosene.
2.
Diesel.
Diesel. 3. So, You're looking for kerosene. You're looking for, why? Because you cook with kerosene.
Yeah.
Your aircraft use a form of kerosene. You're looking for gasoline because your cars use petrol. Then you're looking for diesel because you're not going to sleep tonight comfortably if that generator isn't on.
Working, yeah.
So that's what you're distilling for. And whether you like it or not, you're going to get the residue of bitumen. Now, money is this bitumen. When you try to solve problems and are successful, your success is determined by your ability to solve problems. Dangote solves problems, solved a problem recently, and will continue to solve problems. And guess what? He gets his bitumen, that is money, as a byproduct of what he is really looking for, which is success.
Yeah.
I think I've lost a lot of people right now. Hello, guys. Are you guys here with me? Maybe I should take a few phone calls, or maybe I should finish this. Now, in Nigeria, we distill crude oil for bitumen that we would get anyway if we distilled for the real products.
Yeah. Wow.
So we build a refinery and we're distilling for a byproduct that is used for tarring roads. Hello, what road are you tarring if you don't have car that will ride on the road?
Exactly. What's going to ride on the road?
I don't know if you guys are with me. So here's what Paul Kagame is trying to say, in my own understanding. We need to stop looking for funding. We need to start solving our problems. Before money was used for trade in Africa, people were trading, people were living, and we were doing well. Egypt was where civilization came from. A lot of scholars believe. Let's look inwards in Africa. Let's look at what we have. We have yam. We have cassava. Let's solve a problem with yam and cassava. Can't we create fuel with the amount of cassava we have? Or is some Chinese firm going to come and create fuel out of cassava grown in Nigeria, and then the fuel will be sold to us? And people are going to collect subsidy for this fuel for a cassava that we have? I'm asking a question. You see, I think we need to devalue money in our minds. Money occupies a chunk of our spirit, a chunk of our mind, a chunk of our system, and we have overvalued money. Bill Gates will tell you that money doesn't make him happy. He will tell you that he didn't start Microsoft for money. He wanted to solve a problem. Mark Zuckerberg didn't start Facebook for money. Initially, he didn't really care about money. He just wanted to solve a problem. Michael Jackson didn't start singing for money. Do you know that? Let me tell you a story about Thriller. Michael Jackson mixed Thriller, spent about a month in the studio mixing it, went home crying, scattered the whole mix, and came back and mixed it afresh for a whole straight week. Michael Jackson wanted perfection. Fela, who I consider one of the greatest prophets to come out of Africa, did something once. He bought a Mercedes-Benz that the politicians and the big boys were riding back then, cut off the roof of a brand new Mercedes-Benz and was using it to carry firewood from the market just to prove a point. Who remembers that story?
What?
Fela bought a brand new Mercedes-Benz, cut the roof off, and they were using it to carry firewood. You've heard that story. Who's heard that story?
I don't know.
I wish we had more people like Fela who could show us that these things are nothing but material things. They don't define us. Hold on.
But
let me give you a situation. You are at a bus stop.
Yeah.
You are holding 1 million naira. It's dark at night. There's somebody beside you, he's holding 15 naira.
Yeah.
There's somebody beside you, he's holding an umbrella and he's holding 500 naira. Now, the person who's holding 15 naira is black belt in taekwondo, judo, and karate. All you have is 1 million naira cash. The other guy has an umbrella. Now, if it starts to rain, what is more useful? The guy's black belt, your money, or the guy's umbrella?
I can use my money to buy another
No.
umbrella.
You are alone in the middle of the night in a dark alley at a bus stop waiting for a bus that has refused to come, and it starts to rain. One person has money, one person has black belts in various martial arts, and one person has an umbrella.
The umbrella.
Thank you very much. Now imagine 3 armed thugs come out brandishing bottles. Hey! You have money. One has the ability to fight, and the other person has an umbrella. Which is most useful at that particular situation?
Taekwondo.
Thank you very much. So, there are times in your life where you will have money and it would be useless to you.
That's true.
But not in Nigeria. Because we have made money a god. Let's learn from people like Dangote who don't sit in their houses praying for money. They drill the earth, they distill to get this money. I think I should take a few phone calls. Let's take a few phone calls now. Second question is, how important is money in your relationship?
Yes.
How important, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is money to you?
11.
Zika, on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is money to you?
10.
10.
Actually,
Can you
12.
imagine? Can you imagine the
In a
kind of girls that are
relationship.
in a relationship?
No, but on my side, it's 11 on both sides. Have your money, let me have my money. You get, we'll come
Okay.
together at some point.
Okay, let me ask you a question. What if you met a guy you love, who's nice, tells the right jokes, treats you right, knows how to touch those places that make you ooh, ooh, ah, ah, but doesn't have money?
Wow.
But doesn't have money. Would you date such a guy? And your second choice is a guy who has all the money in the world, doesn't know where to touch, doesn't know what to say, is crude as hell,
Wow.
but he has all the money. The first day he came to visit you, he saw your mom's tire was bad, and he called the car company, let's say Toyota or Kia, and said, please, can we have a brand new Toyota delivered to this place?
Okay. I believe...
And while your mom's driver is fighting with the tire, they bring a brand new car. I say, Mommy, please stop worrying over this tire. Here's a brand new car.
Yeah. So that means the second man can be tamed.
Now let me ask you a question. Let's reverse the polarity.
Okay.
If you were living abroad, where as long as you have a job, you'd have a roof.
Yeah.
If you're sick, the government takes care of you. I'm not talking about England and America because that's where people see as abroad. I'm talking about other developed countries.
Yes.
Where, like Romania, for instance, healthcare is free. Let me tell you something about Romania. Childbirth is free. Maternity leave is 3 years.
What?
Of which the government would pay 40% of your salary, and the company you're working for is mandated to pay 40% of your salary. So for instance, if your salary is 100K, while you sit at home for those 3 years taking care of your child, the government will pay you 40,000, while your company who hired you will pay you another 40,000
For 3 years.
for 3 years.
How long is pregnancy and maternity leave in Africa?
3 months.
I think so too. I think we're also 3 or 2 months.
Yeah, 3 months.
Now, value is placed on taking care of children. Let me tell you something else. Nursery school is free, and not only is nursery school free, it comes with free lunch. And you see, when a Romanian says free school, is not what we have as free school here, where you go and sit down on the window and be receiving lecture from window. Because no. Free school, I used to take my nephew to free school, and I used to steal his yogurt. Because they used to give him yogurt and he didn't like yogurt. So I used to eat the yogurt on his behalf on the way home. I'm like, oh wow, let me go and pick this boy from school. What did they give you today? He'll bring out the fruit yogurt. All right, I'll have that.
So that if it's who pays these people? Because it seems like they do a lot of stuff.
Because the government works.
Yeah.
So in a situation like that, let me tell you, I was in Romania 2 weeks. I never saw a Gucci shop. In Cluj, for instance, they didn't have a Rolex shop. They had a mall, lovely mall. People go to the mall. They have normal things like Starbucks and McDonald's and the things you consider normal. But they didn't have those high-end luxuries.
Yeah.
No Louis Vuitton. No, I think maybe they had
Michael
Kors and Swarovski, but not the higher-end brands. But guess what? They have no person living in extreme poverty. You could check worldpoverty.io. While Nigeria has 91 million people living in extreme poverty. I'll give you the exact statistics right now. World Poverty Report. You could check that out. It's www.worldpoverty.io. Okay, so let's check that out. Do we have a phone call coming in?
No.
Or can I land?
No, you can land.
So, don't you guys think that we have placed a value on money that it doesn't deserve? Hold on, before you say anything. You have a boyfriend, or you have a husband.
Yes.
And your husband beats you. Your husband cheats on you. But according to tradition, you must call your husband daddy.
Why?
I'm just saying, the tradition of your village insists that you call your husband daddy. There's so many cultures where wives call their husbands daddy. Now, if you sat down and viewed your husband properly, is he worth the title you're giving him? Someone that beats you, cheats on you, gives you STD, collects your money, but you still have to call him daddy.
No.
I think that is where money has reached. I'm typing Nigeria right now. World Poverty Report. Nigeria. We have 91,526,755 million people living in extreme poverty. Oh, 56 now. One more person has joined the list. Now, this figure is more than the combined population of China and India in extreme poverty. All right, we've got a call coming through. Hello? All right, go ahead. We're talking about money today. What's your take?
Really, you said it all. The problem comes from from our leaders.
Turn down your radio, please, sir.
I'm doing that already.
Okay, you are saying the problem comes from our leaders. Can I disagree with you, sir? Do you know why? I think the problem is beyond our leaders. It is our mindset.
You know what you said about Babafela?
Hmm.
To buy a brand new Benz to. You know why he did so?
Why?
Because he has seen all the oppressed by the rich in the society. So that was why he did that.
Let me ask you a question real quick. On a scale of 1 to 10, how important is money in a relationship? It has to do with what?
The country where the relationship is being held.
Now we're beginning to have a different perspective. Thank you very much for that call, and God bless you. Okay, let me ask you something, Amal. If you lived in a country like Romania, where childbirth is free, you could get a job. There's no extreme poverty. School is free in Romania up till university level.
Yeah.
Nursery school free, primary school free, secondary school free. Now for university, they have scholarship programs. My mom was on a university scholarship program.
Then money becomes useless.
Then
Exactly.
money becomes useless.
Exactly.
So don't you think that the failure of our system is what is giving money an undue title?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, we've got another caller. Yeah, hello? Daddy Freeze right here. Go ahead.
Okay, I think money is very important, but then when you start making money the central part of your life,
Hold on a second. Don't you think that money is very important because of where we live in? If you lived in a society where everything was sorted out,
but a lot of people don't subscribe to socialism because I think that is what we have in Romania, sort of. So, but the thing is, a lot of our people are not really educated. You have proper education, then you don't attach so much importance to money. I look at people like Bill Gates, they are really, really educated. Forget about going to school, they've read books. Akon said something. Akon actually said that he was in a room with Bill Gates. The first time we had a meeting with them, Bill Gates and the Facebook guy, and these guys were multi-billionaires, and he was wearing like chains and everything, and they had nothing, no bling, no nothing, and he went home, and he changed his wardrobe, and he realized that, I was doing it wrongly, so he had to change his mindset. So it's pretty much about education. Educate yourself, let yourself know that money is also important, but then you also don't have to force people to go the socialistic way, let people also work for money, change other people's lives. That's actually what I think.
all right, thank you so much for that. Now, there's an interesting conversation that is going around these days. Doctors versus plumbers, not in Nigeria but abroad, who makes more? And I'm going to read this to you. The answer seems simple, doesn't it? Based on your preconceived notions, you're probably thinking becoming a doctor is one of the most lucrative professions, like a lawyer or rocket scientist, but a plumber, does that even come close? If you put to Google how much does a doctor make and how much do plumbers make, you'll get two perfectly rounded figures with no explanation as to how they're calculated. Instead, you'll find that according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the 2017 median pay for a doctor was $208,000 a year, while the median pay for a plumber was about $52,000 a year. Now, it's common knowledge that becoming a doctor requires formal education. A lot of formal education. To start your career as a doctor in a civilized Western society, you need a 4-year undergraduate program, 4-year medical school, 3 to 7 years residency training, 15 years of advanced training is expensive. So doctors graduate medical school with $166,000 in debt.
Wow.
Assuming the loan takes 30 years to repay at 7.5% interest, the medical degree cost a whopping $419,000. Now let's compare the cost of becoming a doctor to the cost of becoming a plumber. Most commonly, plumbers start their career through an apprenticeship, earning around $14 per hour on average. Well, instead of paying to become a doctor, companies pay you to become a plumber.
Wow.
$14 an hour average becoming a plumber in the Western world. Now, assuming you work 40 hours per week with the average apprentice pay for the 15 years the doctor is in school, you would have made approximately $417,000, while the doctor collected $166,000 in debt. In reality, you can make more than that. An apprenticeship lasts only for so long. Journeyman and master plumbers earn considerably more. Now, pediatricians and anesthesiologists have considerably different salaries. On the average, pediatricians earn $184,000 a year, while anesthesiologists earn $266,000 a year. However, these salaries are not realistic until the 15-year training and education is complete. Plumbers have a more concrete career path. Starting as an apprenticeship, plumbers learn the trade early. When they've gone through enough hours to be considered a journeyman plumber. Finally, once a plumber has enough experience under his belt, they're able to move to the highest classification, master plumber. On average, master plumbers can expect to make $30 an hour. With 6 to 10 years of training and experience, it's not unheard of for master plumbers to take home around $100,000 a year.
Wow.
Abroad. Now, here's what I'm trying to prove with this. At the end of the day, pound for pound, there's more money in plumbing than in medicine in a Western world.
But
So here's the thing. So would you, because of money, become a plumber instead of a doctor? That's the question I'm putting to you. Because with the rate at which you love money, you might consider taking a shortcut. How long does it take for me to be an apprentice? Then from apprentice, I do journeyman. From journeyman, I become master plumber. I'm earning $100,000 a year. Man, who needs to go to medical school? That's what made Nigeria what it is today. Hashtag the lazy youth syndrome. Easy way out. Kick professionalism out the door. Kick everything else out the door and put bitumen, the byproduct of petroleum distillation, in the forefront of our agenda when it comes to rating success. I'm going to open up my phone lines again because there's one more call coming through. We're talking about money today, and I've got a caller. Yes, hello?
Hello, good evening, Daddy Freeze.
Good evening, sir. Go ahead. What's your take on this?
It's quite interesting what you just read, because I was having a debate with a friend of mine a few days ago. We're talking about salary, incomes, and everything, and I was trying to explain to him. I'm a software developer, and I do a lot of remote jobs for companies in Canada, and from my experience with working with so many guys over there, I now realize that a bunch of the people who actually make a lot more money are these plumbers, carpenters, and the guy who goes to the forest to cut the trees, electricians. Those jobs we look down on in Nigeria. Those people earn a lot more money over there. And I think it's a thing of our society and how everybody places themselves. If somebody sees you, if I decide to, like, you know what, because of I'm trying to, like, maybe go minimal, let me stop driving a car. It doesn't mean I'm broke, it doesn't mean I'm poor.
But they're going to... It's going to see you as poor.
I'm poor, I'm broke. You know, because I go minimal. Like my life right now is I have to cut down a lot of from working with a lot of international people and traveling. Like I learned a lot in my life where I've not cut down a lot of the things I used to do. Now to my friends now, because I no more attend reading on blog or buy VIP tickets or go club.
Shade.
Because it's now broke. For me, I'm not broke. I can decide to go to Bali tomorrow and work remote and stay for 6 months if I want to. I have the funds for that. You understand? My priority has changed, and I don't look at money as the rule of my life anymore, because I realized that I have a friend in the US, okay? He's a US Marine. Of course, he got hot when he got back now. That guy is off the grid. He lives in the cabin. He doesn't even pay electricity bill. He doesn't even have a phone. The only time I'm going to see him is if I travel to the US and I send a letter ahead of time. You understand that, hey guy, I'm going to be around so time, let's meet up in New York or something, before we will now meet off the grid. But this guy is loaded with cash. If he dies now, you look at his will, he has money. But the money is not the rule of his life. He's very happy. He's happier than the guy that is buying Lamborghini all up and down and broke and can't live. I don't know if you understand where I'm going with this. I just think it's a mindset of our society here in Nigeria.
All right, thank you so much for that. I appreciate that call. Let's take another one call. Yes, hello. Good evening. After your call, we're going to go on a music break. So tell us what's on your mind.
Very big. You know what? I really want to comment to for always speaking to the two. I feel like I mean, like whenever you come on here like this, You know, I listen to you all, even on Sunday, how we comment you. Look up to you today. Okay, very quick, huh? Because I think my wife, compare what you're talking about this evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.
All right, now listen. Now let me tell you something. Like the other caller said, you don't have to disagree with him. It could, you know, the problem actually coming from our leaders. Can you do that?
Oops, lost that call. We're going to take a music break and then we'll be right back. Today the topic is money. I hope I can change your perspective about it when we return. So stick around. And there's no greater danger to our sanity, to our spirituality, than the worship of money. Let me tell you, when you worship money, you become poor. When you overrate money, what you're looking for is poverty. When you think money is so important, it becomes your God and it makes you poor. Black people think money is so important. That's why they have so little of it. In the entire world, there are only 13 black people who are billionaires. Speaks volumes. 20 churches on every street preaching that God doesn't love you if you're poor, preaching that if you're poor you're better off dead, and yet no one has this money they're preaching about. Do you know why? Because the more you preach about it, the scriptures say something. They said, seek you first the kingdom of heaven and everything else will be added. Seek you first the kingdom of heaven and all other things will be added. Consider this scripture fractional distillation. Seek you the important things, what you really need. If you seek the kingdom of heaven, what you're ending up doing is you're going to get knowledge, because the scriptures say you must have knowledge. You're going to learn to love. Love is a virus. It's contagious. When you give love, you get love. You're going to end up giving to the poor. You're going to end up giving so much to the poor. That comes with love. The more you love, the more you give to the poor. The more you give to the poor, the more you take people out of poverty. So when you take people out of poverty, crime reduces. The less I saw this happen in Romania. Drug problems reduce. I lived in Romania in the 90s. They had a serious drug problem. They had a serious crime problem. But the moment advancement came and people started to work, when Romania joined the EU, within 10 years, Cluj became one of the safest cities in Europe. Dangote is the richest man on earth. He didn't get rich by praying for money. He didn't get rich by going to church on a Friday, on a Sunday, on a Wednesday, on a Saturday. And if he went to his place of prayer, he said his prayer very quickly and went to do his work. Muslim prayers are 5 minutes. And when you go to the mosque, you are humbled. If Dangote goes late to a mosque, he's going to pray on the road. If Dangote dies, he is going to be buried in the same thing a poor man is going to be buried in. When you go to a mosque, you could stand beside a billionaire and rub shoulders. Unless you are a billionaire or you belong to a certain elite class, I'm not sure you and a billionaire in church will be near one another.
You'll be sitting at the front, you'll be at the back.
And you know what that causes? It makes you want to sit where they're sitting. And because we have 50% of our population as Christians, half of Nigeria literally wants to be rich. Not add value, not solve problems, but be rich. And what do you get? Poverty. Let me go back to the radio.
We're going on. We're going on.
Okay, we're going to commercials.
No, we have finished.
Okay, let's go.
Did you do commercials before?
There's a 41, but
I finished it.
you finished the 41?
Yeah.
All right. All right, guys, it is 96.9 Cool FM back to the radio today. And this is a different Daddy Freeze. Today we're talking about money. Okay, I've got Amal Cash up in the building.
Yes.
Looking very pretty.
Thank you.
I'm guessing that I'm beginning to affect your mentality a little bit.
A lot. There's a lot I have learned. My stand still stands on relationships for my own reason. But when it comes to economy and growth and everything, I'm totally with you on that.
Let me tell you something. Why do you need money in your relationship?
Because of, like that gentleman said, because of the
No, not because of you, Amal, me. I want to marry you. Why would you not marry me? What are the things you want from me? Let's talk one-on-one.
Rent.
Good. Hold on. If you live in some of these countries, the moment you get married, you could get a house. It's very easy. Get a government loan. Remember, you went to university for free on the government.
Yeah.
If not, you learned a trade. You're doing some work. You can get a house. You could actually get a house once you have a job. So, okay, your main concern number one, rent.
Rent.
Concern number two,
Food. Day-to-day living. I'm not going to...
when you live in a country like Romania or in many countries in Europe, food is one of the cheapest things. By food, no, if you go to McDonald's, food is expensive. But strawberries are cheap. Milk is cheap. Meat is cheap. So once you can get the food into your house, you'd eat healthier than anybody going to McDonald's or all those other places. So trust me, food is very cheap, very affordable. Food is sorted. What else?
Vacation.
Now you're working, you could save for a vacation. You might not be able to fly business class. But let's remember that business class is not a need, it's a want.
Yeah.
And we have, in this part of the world, confused our needs for our wants. Our needs have become wants.
Our wants have become
Or our
needs.
wants have become needs. Okay, what else is your worry?
That's basically it. Day-to-day, I mean...
You're scared that if you get pregnant,
Uh-huh.
what are you gonna feed the child?
Where is my child going to
Don't
be
worry, the
born?
government is there for you. In many European countries, people listening to me right now, the government, if you live in a European country, I'm not talking about the UK, even in the UK and the US, you still get quite a few things. But there's some European countries that would pay you to stay at home. Sweden, for instance. I've heard cases where in Sweden you get paid to stay at home and take care of kids. But the only problem in those countries is you cannot beat your child. If you beat your child, they'll come and collect the child from you.
Wow.
But what the child's gonna eat, don't worry about that. They give toy allowance. I think it's Sweden. I know someone who told me that in Sweden, somebody said Germany. In Sweden, you get money every month for your children to buy toys. In a country where they buy toys for your children, just know that they've taken care of the important things.
If they're looking at
if they're
toys.
looking at toys. In Nigeria, do our children even play with toys? They are busy hustling like their parents.
And you go and wash the dishes.
The children are hustling like their parents. So what else? Okay, childbirth is free. You get to stay at home. If you don't want to work, you stay at home and you'd be taken care of to a large degree by the government. What else is your worry? Health?
None.
You have no worries. So all of a sudden, is money as important as it was 10 minutes ago?
But then that just means that it's cause of the system, it's cause of the society we're in Africa, and dare I say blacks as one. We make money important because that's what we have been taught. And that's the system we're in. Africa, you basically have to fight for everything. When you're trying to get a house, you're struggling to get a house, you're struggling to get a car. Kids' school fees is how much?
I understand what you're talking about. If you do not have money and you're not living in Lekki, you might be forced to stay somewhere like Ikorodu where they have Bado.
Yes.
Do you understand? You might be forced to stay in areas where you have to come home early because they're ritual killers, blah, 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 blah. I understand. And you see, those little things creep up into your mind, and before you know it, they form the template of your mind. Do you remember what do you call stencils?
Yes.
That you trace numbers and letters with? A Nigerian mind, a typical Nigerian mind, has been stenciled to see that without money, you'd be poor, you'd be hungry, you'd be unsafe, you'd have no medical attention, so you need money. Then you go to your places of worship, where you're supposed to be refreshed spiritually. And then you see politicians sitting on the front row.
Everywhere.
Listen, this has happened to me before. I pull up in my Range Rover, they throw the gates open. I pull up the next day in my Kia, they show me where to park outside. So what does that mean? You will not want to go to those places of worship with a Kia. You'd want to go with a Range Rover. You'd want to go with a Ferrari. So automatically, your mind is being stenciled. You are being preconditioned. You are being programmed to see money as so valuable. But guess what? You are seeing bitumen as more valuable than petrol.
You know, the church thing, it's not even only maybe here in Nigeria, even back home. I remember the time I went home for Christmas, and this is Christmas. Children are having fun. Parents, you know, from the village are sitting down and they're excited. We come in, we're not really, you know, they put us in front. And I actually saw them remove parents to put us in front. And I was like, what sense does that make? These people woke up early to come. They have brought their goats for offering. They have brought, you know, they're excited to be here. And then, because someone is from the city. That never made sense to me. And now I understand what you're saying, because when a person sees that, then they don't care how they're going to make the money. They just
have to make the money. Then all of a sudden, your God-given priorities that were arranged by God himself, when God was creating you, was the one that sat down and arranged all your files. He filed all your documents, pictures. What other files do you have in a computer? My documents, File Explorer, Notepad. He filed everything properly. But you now refiled everything to suit the failure of your system. And I believe it is poverty of ambition for you to rate money more important than certain things. And on that bombshell, I think we're going to take 2 phone calls. Can we take 2 phone calls?
Yes.
2710969, 2711969, 2712969, and 2713969. We really have quite a few callers today. Hello? Hello? Hi, how are you doing? I'm very well, thank you. So what's your opinion?
That the reason we place so much value on money in this part of the world is because we don't live in a welfare state, essentially, where the barest minimums are provided for us.
Yes.
Because then I think even if we are provided with the most basic of necessities, right, like Romania, like you said, for example, the aspirational value that money has doesn't necessarily go away. But the fact that the government...
Hold on. The aspirational values money have are created by the preconditioning and programming that you subject yourself to as a child growing up.
Yes.
If you live in Romania, you don't see Dangote as better than you.
Not necessarily. I mean, I'm not even looking at it in the context of comparing individuals, wealth hierarchy or whatnot. I'm talking about a situation where the government provides, say, basic nursery schools, for example. How efficient are those schools? What is wrong for me to want to aspire to becoming rich enough to send my kids to a private school?
Now, hold on. In Rwanda, I spoke of Paul Kagame earlier on. Private schools are closing because the government is giving you better value than the private schools. So if the government can give you, then I don't think I've ever seen a private school in Romania. You run out of business. What do you want to teach them that the government is not going to?
The context of Romania is certainly very different.
Hold on, let me give you another example. Things I never saw in Romania, gyms. I never saw a gym. You know why? Because the government provides free gyms in some cities. At every 5 minutes, there's an open gym, there's a park, there's stuff to play with for kids. So I don't understand this aspirational. I think it has to do with preconditioning and programming.
It's just essentially because the reality is we live in a capitalist society where it's essentially every man for himself. Of that, but the reality is, like you said, in the west part of the west, the majority of the world lives in a situation where every person has to fend for themselves and get that money, so to speak.
All right, thank you for that, Doe. That was a nice contribution from a different perspective. Yes, we have another caller here. Hello, final caller.
Hello, that is free. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Go ahead.
It's Emmanuel from Ikorodu.
All right, Emmanuel, go ahead, sir.
I think that, quite frankly, Nigeria is an over-certificated country.
Word.
So you get all these certificates, and people ordinarily, you look at the certificates, you have to drop it and start all over again. What it simply means is that the practical aspects of how one should live his life are really not taught in schools. You understand?
Yeah.
So, I have looked at it. Just supposing it side by side, certificates and craftsmanship. They are two different things. And I have also looked at it. I've seen that so many people who are doing well, who have created value, are people who sometimes don't even finish a supposed education. The likes of Bill Gates, these are dropouts. The likes of the owner of Facebook, Zuckerberg, these are people you look at as dropouts. So I've also looked at the place of certification, you understand, in making one great. And I've questioned that basic tools, understand, for enhancing human life is always gotten in the primary and secondary education. What you go do in the university sometimes, especially in our client, Nigeria, is something that is very worrisome. This is the reason why people in power who should make education work for the nation, they do as much as they can to move their kids out of this country. That's why they don't pay attention in how we are educated here. And that's what I think Nigerians should be talking about. If you are a common man, rather than casting your aspersions on your fellow, look at how you can make people in position of power, people in position of authority, look into our fundamental education. Good evening.
Good evening. That was a nice contribution. We'll take one more call. Yes, hello, final caller. Even though I know I said that earlier on, but we have so many callers.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening, sir. Go ahead.
I am so happy to be here today. My name is Ine, first of all. I'm coming from Yamoro.
Hello, sir. Good evening, and welcome to the show.
Can you hear me, please?
I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me? All right, sir. Go ahead.
About should I say the best motivational speaker I've heard this year? I don't know where to place you. You're just too good. God bless you.
Oh, thank you, sir.
I've been listening to you for over an hour now, and I just can't say a word. I'm short of words. I am really motivated. I must say, as a matter of fact, I don't know how many people are listening to Cool FM at the moment, but I wish you had more audience to listen to this. Perhaps you should record things like this and then have them published somewhere else and have more people listen to them. This is quite good.
Thank you, sir. I'm actually publishing on YouTube. Today's show would be available on YouTube. What I will do is I will tweet the link to today's show on YouTube on my Twitter account. So in the next 2 hours you should be able to have access to it by God's grace.
Perfect. Freeze, you're doing a great job.
Thank you very much, sir. And I think that's as far as we can go today because we have quite a few announcements. And the long and short of it is, let's teach one another value. let's teach one another love. Let's teach one another togetherness. Let's work together as a people to solve our common problems. Money will come.
I have learned so much, I will say. That's why I kept quiet at a point. Because I was like, no, let them just school me. Let me just learn today. So, wow.
All right, so I officially sign off. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening. But I'm sure Amal has a few things to say.
Yes.
Today, I was supposed to teach, but my spirit kept saying, you know what? Instead of teaching a usual biblical sermon, why don't you talk to the people? I hope you guys enjoy this. And I want to use this to celebrate Aliko Dangote, whose birthday is today. And if there's any lesson you can learn from Aliko Dangote, it is not that he's rich. If you look at Aliko Dangote and say that the message is that he is rich, you've missed the point. The message is he solves problems. He's successful at solving problems. And he's successful at adding value. God bless you all. And by the way, Aliko Dangote said it is a lie that he never gave his seat up to Benson Idahosa. That's a lie. It's a fabricated story. He never did that. How did he make his money? By working hard. Once again, let's say this together. Solving problems, being successful at solving problems and adding value. Add value today. Be successful at solving a problem. Money will come. God bless you all.